great week, Zels, but it always starts so calmly. I see Jakey. He's tickled the Lions' balls in Cape Town. I saw at a press conference on social media. He was commenting on the Stormers, the DHL Stormers injury list, and he said the only two names they didn't put on there was Carl du Plessis and Gert Small.
I thought that was quite a nice job, actually.
Jakey wins 2 games against the Stormers, and he's bullish again. He's forgotten the 7 defeats in a row, but I guess he reckons when he saw that injury list, playing at home against a battling Stormers side, with lots of key players on the injury list, most of their backline, that he feels after the win against the Lions that he can be a bit bullish, a little bit sure of himself. I just hope that Carl and Chad don't come back to bite you, because they could be the jokers in Dobbo's back.
What do you say now?
Well, there is a du Plessis there. I think Dan du Plessis will be there. So you speak ill about my uncle, and we'll come back and bite you. Yeah. The big one, obviously, the Vodacom Bulls at home against the big one for us in Cape Town, obviously, against the DHL Stormers. For you, the guys from Gauteng and Durban in Johannesburg, it's the Lions up against the Sharks. That's the URC games that we really are interested in. We watch that second, third, and fourth kind of playoff in the log. We know Leinster's going to end tops and then go out in the semi-final, and then we'll probably be hosting in Durban, eh? Or is it going to be Pretoria?
Probably Pretoria, mate.
Look, I think people are saying there's not going to be a hosting in Johannesburg or Cape Town. But the Sharks are getting a lot. They're getting a lot of support overseas. People are saying this is the team to watch. They get Evan back. They get all those Springboks back when it really matters. And boom! Durban has its first ever final. And then guess what? Think of this. We had Cape Town finals, 2 in a row. Pretoria final. Durban. Come on, matey. There's got to be Johannesburg with next. Cash's Lions will come through.
Matey, the last time they had a final in Derbs, didn't Brian Abana torch them for the win?
Yeah, and a big one, the Super Rugby, that he tortured them, but the guy who actually tortured them was Derek Hougaard, because he still had to kick the conversion. And poor Derek Hougaard, Lieflin, who just magnificent, he came from Boland Landbou, who was the superstar kicker. We picked him when Tim Lane was with the Springbok assistants, and they put him in charge of the Renegades. It was outside of the 4 Super Rugby teams. They picked a squad of misfits, and I still managed that team back in the day. We had our trials in Goodwood Rugby Club.
Where else?
Yes, the wind was howling. Derek Hougaard missed 3 kicks, and the other guy didn't even bother kicking. That's how bad the wind was. If Derek Hougaard can't pop one over. I mean, it was just gale force was an understatement. And Carlo Del Favo, we still
the great.
He came through there, and then kind of he had tested positive for something. Off he went to Italy and played 75 tests, but. And he had a great trial match as well. Derek played one in that trial match. We picked the Renegades, and back in the day, Tim Lane, when it was Super Rugby, I don't even know what I'm talking about now, mate. What were we talking about?
No, we were talking about, mate, the Renegades. We'd picked you. You were there. You were the manager, mate. You had your trials at Goodwood Rugby Club.
Yeah, but why were we talking about the Renegades?
You're talking about Derek Hougaard and Brian Abana scoring the game.
So I'm just checking, okay. Just checking to see if you were listening. I saw you switch off like a little glance at him out there. So Derek Hougaard, as kind of his injury was cut short, his career was cut short with injury, and shame, and he's been through a lot of problems as well, and but a really good oak, and he was the darling of.
Can take a hit.
And which is Brian Lima. Wow, what a hospital pass from the late years. Sure. But yeah, I mean, Derek Hougaard, wonderful player in his own right. Morne Steyn then came on the scene, and people forgot about Lieflin. But he always says that everyone talks about Brian Abana breaking the tackles and scoring, but he still had to kick the conversion. We keep on saying this. So the oak who broke the hearts of everyone in Durban was Derek Hougaard.
Yeah.
Lieflin.
Yeah.
Habana set it up.
Yeah.
But Derek Hougaard kicked the conversion. And had he missed the conversion, do you know what they would have said? Derek Hougaard cost the Bulls. Super Rugby. No one says Derek Hougaard won it for the Bulls. But a fabulous player. And he really was the darling of Loftus. Did so many great things. That Currie Cup final at Ellis Park. In the early 2000s when he just banged over everything. Great days for him, but we do remember him for that conversion. And he always taught, interviews I've seen him do, he says it was like he already kicked it. The guys were celebrating.
Furious.
Guys were celebrating.
Halfway back to the
Yeah, they were
changes.
in the change room and he's spinning this ball down. He's like, you can't miss this one in any case. But
Classic.
we're gonna talk a little bit later in the show about Dobbo and Jake, the showdown, North versus South. I hope it's going to be a crowd, 30,000 plus. They don't sell out for league games, not like in Cape Town. We sell out for nearly every game. And then hopefully in Johannesburg, there will be a half-decent crowd. It's the Currie Cup final revisited.
Ooh,
It's the Sharkies up against the Lions, and that should be a crack. I think that's going to be, if the weather's good, and that's going to be a cracking game. Remember, we had the Currie Cup final. It's going to be a 55, 60-point plus game. It was single digits down to, because of the weather, down to the last few minutes. So looking forward to that game. But the thing we're going to start this week, going into March, the Boks play against Italy, 2 tests in July, then Georgia, and then it's into the Rugby Championship. We host Australia for 2. We host Argentina, but in between that, we go to New Zealand, 6th and 13th of September, Auckland, Wellington, the 2 most anticipated test matches in the world this year. The Springboks against the All Blacks in New Zealand at Eden Park, their first one. They are 50 test matches unbeaten dating back to 1994.
Lucky
As I keep on
bounce.
saying, I was there in 94 when Stephen Batcham missed touch and the try from the other end of the earth. And anyone who's linked to South African rugby, make sure that I get there again for the first
Wow, that'd be
defeat.
amazing.
And that will be in 2025.
Yep.
And then we'll go to Wellington, which is like a home ground apparently to us. And then we'll win there as well. 2-0 series win. But before that, we're going to play Italy. I thought they were much improved till France showed us maybe they're not quite as improved, okay?
Yes.
And people love Bokwatch. So we are going to pick our first match 23 that we would play in the first test. And considering that everyone's injured and we could pick from anywhere, and we're going to discuss why. And we want you to go onto the YouTube comments channel, and we want you to kind of tell us what your 23 would be just for that first test, okay? Not what you think Russie's going to pick, what you would pick.
Oh, I like that.
What you would pick.
Yeah.
And that creates the greatest debate. And we'll continue this debate once a week in the build-up to July. Box Squad, why not Bokwatch? And at the end, a week before Rassie does pick his first test team, we'll see who measures up. And anyone who got closest may get a very nice prize.
I like the sound of that, mate. Does that include us?
No, mate. No, because I know you could be talking to Rassie and then you get close. So, with further ado...
Without further ado, you say?
Yeah.
Age before beauty, mate. I think you should go first.
Okay, I'm going to start with my number 15. Johan Hines. The ultimate specimen of South African rugby. I just want to test our audience to know, did you start following rugby in 2019?
Yeah.
Or did you follow it before that?
Yes.
As we said to Scott that day, Jan Hendrik Wessels, what do you think of him? I'll have to pass on that one. So, for those who don't know, Johan Hines was a fabulous Springbok and Bulls fullback in the mid-80s. And heartthrob as well. I think everyone was after that, okay? Good-looking man.
Good piece of information.
Ultimate specimen, Jan Hines, but a great player. Think of the box against the Cavaliers in the day, in the mid-80s.
Heartthrob.
He was an 80s heartthrob. And I'm talking like prototype heartthrob.
That is legendary.
He was AI before AI existed.
Somewhere out there, Onions is blushing.
Hey, before AI existed, he was AI, okay? He was the ultimate kind of rugby specimen, good-looking dude, and all the way from Pretoria, where all the good-looking people come from. And so Johan Hines hasn't made it, unfortunately. Neither has Marius Goosen, who played for the Pumas. He played in Italy. He's was the assistant coach. Is he still with the Italian side, Morris?
I'm not 100% sure. He's
in
Italy.
Yeah, because every time on X, he used to coach Benetton as well. He played many years there. Every time on X where I used to pick a team and pick Johan Goosen at 10, I'd pick Maurice Goosen at 10. And because obviously he was still in my psyche.
Brain, yeah. And
he would always respond, thanks for bringing me out of retirement again. So I bring him out of retirement once every 4 weeks. So when I called Eric Rush, Ian Rush, in a newspaper that went through the sub-editors.
Yeah.
Terrible, man. But I'm not going to go with Johan Hines. I'm going to go with the guy who was the incumbent. I expect him to be back in the next month. He'll make the playoffs. He'll make a big difference. I'm going to start...
Consensus.
Number 15
Yep.
against Italy. I'm going to start with Damian Willemse,
Oh.
the Springbok fullback who started the World Cup final. The man who is infamous for the Let's scrum it down, boys, but I'm out of here.
Yes.
Probs, you do your work. I've done mine. Damian Willemse, 15. I think for now that's going to be his best position with the box. Fassi has played well. Remember, this is just for the first test. So for the second test, it may be a thing as we do this exercise. We will say pick for the second test, and maybe that Fassi starts at 15, and we give everyone a go before we get to the Rugby Championship. That's what I would do in any case. I would see as many players as we could in that July month, and then that side, that 23 to 25 players that I'm looking at to go to Eden Park, they would be integrated in against Australia. So they're fresh, they battle hardened, and they do the business. But for that July series, I'm going to invest in a bit of experience, a lot of inexperience, with players who I think are good enough to beat Italy at home and certainly good enough to beat Georgia. But I'm going with Damian Willemse. I think he is one of the best backs in world rugby, be it at 12, 15, and he can play 10.
You don't have to. You're preaching to the
and he's kicking at 78%.
Exactly. No, mate, I love Gaza. I prefer him at 10, and I would like to see him in a honest race for the 10 jersey with Andre Pollard and Sasha. I feel like he could add massive value there. And obviously, a guy who could also step in at 12 if you're going to play a bit of a more expansive, creative game of 12. I don't particularly like Gaza at 15. I probably said that 50 times on the show. But so I'm going at 15 with Apalele Fassi. I think he comes back from his injury. This kid is a guy we have to get up to full speed for the next World Cup. The more experience he gets, the better. And I think the more time we see him playing, the better. And this is a team that's going to be relatively, I wouldn't say experimental, but there are going to be significant changes in this team. And so against an opponent like Italy, it's a good opportunity to put Fassi in a position where he kind of has to be a bit more of a leader because he'll have some more caps than some of the other guys.
All right, so I'm going Willemse at 15, you going Fassi at 15.
Fassi.
And again, guys, if you just tune in, you missed the intro. This is Zels' team that he would pick to play the first test, the match 23 against Italy. This is mine that I'd pick, considering these players are fit, obviously. And this is not necessarily who plays the second test. It's not necessarily who plays against Georgia, plays against Australia, Argentina, or the All Blacks. Okay, let's just get that clear. It's not Russi's team. It's not the team we think he will pick. It's us playing selectors. Like everyone in South Africa and globally is a selector.
Yeah.
It's a great little exercise. You put your team in YouTube, and there will be prizes to be won as well. Talking about prizes, that inverter Stecco, we've got 1,000 prizes. Aister did his thing. He's weeded it down to 885 because there was 115 duplicates, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, but some amazing comments. Jeez, they love you, eh?
Who?
Oaks love you, eh?
It's
885
the bull top,
comments.
mate. I told you. It's the bull top.
885 comments. So Oaks love you. They love the guy with the guns. They want more of Zels. They say you've got to speak more.
Mate. I'm talking. Let's go.
They want Ricky. They want you. You got 3 more days, because I'm telling you now, we're not going to go through 1,000 on Monday before we do the show.
Correct.
To announce Tuesday's winner.
Yes.
When the Stormers beat the Bulls on Saturday at Lofters,
Steady on.
someone's going to be an inverter, the richer, 42,009 Rand, thanks to Stecco.
That's real wealth.
Thanks to Stecco, Mike Sharman and Rich Treviral. And Mike, get us some more sponsorships, mate.
Yes.
Don't be shy bringing SAB in, buddy. Great little ad on Kitsy. Did you see that? Retro
Yes, I love that with the beer.
The beer,
one
the
for
spicy
Kitsy.
plum.
Oh.
Hey, just one for Kitsy. Well, Mike, you and your boys, geniuses.
Made me
okay?
thirsty.
Best in the industry. I hope that's what. Let me just see. Is that what he said I had to say? No, he is. Great bloke. And thanks to the guys and at Stecco and that wonderful prize, 42,900 Rand. Remember, you have to do your own installation, so don't be snoop. We're getting on. We're picking Bokwatch 14 and 11. We'll do the 2 winners together.
I think that's a great play in that.
What I've done now, so I'm looking at local talent.
Oh.
I'm looking at the URC, toughest competition in the world. Tougher than Super Rugby, maybe not as exciting. And I've gone with experience.
On both wings?
On both wings.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've also gone with guys who haven't necessarily had a heavy workload, but they are
Spit it out.
the guards of
Who
South
are
African
these
winners.
guys?
I'm going with Cheslin and Kirtley.
I don't believe it, mate.
They my overseas-based boys. I'm
What?
bringing them back. I don't think that there's... Edward's just come back. If I look in the competition... Mapimpi again, this is for my first test. I want to reward people. I want to integrate people back into the playing system. We know that Cheslin and Kirtley are doing well. Mapimps is around. Edward van der Merwe. I was going to say Edward van Aarde. Blink dong.
Bring out the old guys, eh?
Well, I got Johan hier en Edward van Aarde.
Next week, nooit vir nooit.
Jy het 4 minute om die mail te loop. Dang. Classic, eh? So I've got, you got Colby. He covers 9 for me. He covers 15. He covers 11, 10, and he's going to kick. So Colby's there. Kurt Lee's there. If the Bulls can't bring him back, I'm bringing him back for the box, okay?
Love it.
So those are my 2 winners, obviously, with Gaza at fullback. Now, that's not a bad start in back three.
How many overseas-based players do you have in your 23?
I'll get there at the end, okay?
I've got 6. One of them is on the right wing for me. I can't believe you went with those 2 guys. One of them is on the right wing for me. I'm playing Cheslin Colby at 14.
That's great.
He's my backup fullback. I'd love to see him play there too. And he adds some experience to a backline that is quite young. So I've got him on the right wing. On the left wing, as much as I think this guy's future is probably in the midfield, I'm going to go with the contesting skills of Kane and Moody at 11.
All right.
Yeah. I like that. I think he adds, between him and Fassi and Colby's experience, I think we've got quite a nice mixture of guys there.
Okay.
Mate, you're looking at me like you forgot about Kane and Moody.
Kane and Moody's playing my second test.
I knew it!
How can you forget about Kane and Moody? Outstanding last week against the Lions. Outstanding against the Lions. Scored a wonderful try. The debate there is Kane and Moody a 13, or is he a 15, or is he a winner?
Michael Jackson would be proud of your backpedaling, right?
Dirty Diana.
Center.
That's a great one, Kane and Moody, okay? So you got Kane and Moody.
You don't have him in
and
your
you got
squad,
Colby,
mate.
okay? No, I never forget Kane and Bulan Lampo.
So he's played 13 then, is he?
He's played 13 when he played for Bulan Lampo, scored a great try against Sachs at Newlands in the Derby day. And when he played 13 against the All Blacks, 2023, Twickenham, scored the greatest try I've seen from a centre at a Springbok centre at Twickenham, and it was disallowed. But it was
I remember that.
Wonderful gliding in that.
I remember that.
His long-term future to me is at 13, but for now on the wins. But he's not playing in the first test. I just want him to recover from the final against the Super Rugby final against the Sharkies in Durban. Imagine a Bulls Sharks final in Durban.
Mate, that should fill up.
Oh, come on, guys, you'll see.
The Sharks would have to bring back those grey and white.
And you know what we're going to say? 4 finals in 4 years at home. I don't know. Maybe we should go back to Super Rugby.
This is too easy, mate.
It's too easy. Come on, Leinster. When are you going to get to a final?
Exactly.
Okay.
Centre
pairing. I'm rewarding what I think is the most fabulous young talent in South Africa at the moment. There was a temptation to play him on the win.
Is he a heartthrob though, mate?
He's a heartthrob apparently. They love him in Durban. They love him everywhere. Ethan Hooker is going in at 13 for me.
Okay.
And
at 12?
And just wait. Ethan Hooker's going at 13 for me. But his mate at Jorenzo at Durban, he's going to be in the mix. He's going to play in one of those 3 tests in my Bokwatch against either Georgia, Italy second. Him and Kane are going to be there. We have so much talent.
We do.
Which, just for the record, Damien Delande fit is starting against the All Blacks at Eden Park.
Correct.
So this is not the team that's going to play against the All Blacks.
Correct.
For me.
Yeah.
This is how we build in that talent pool. It's getting us thinking about, we say we've got so many players. How many do we really have when we put them in combinations?
Exactly. Who's your 12?
My 12, mate, in this, thinking of the context of an Italian side that's come in here, they come off a big Six Nations, Benetton, Zebra, They used to be in South Africa. They've won everywhere in South Africa, Benetton, except in Cape Town. And I'm going with the general at 12, Lukhanyo Am.
Whoa! I actually like that
And
pick.
he is my vice captain.
I like that pick, the Sharks combination.
And he's my vice captain for this match, Lukhanyo Am. And he brings the experience. He knows Hooker. He knows that back 3. And he's proving that he can play 12 or 13. And if people say he may slow down a bit, he's as effective at 12 as he is at 13. He's a great choice for me.
I love it. That is a great pick. It almost makes up for forgetting about Kane and Moody.
Never forget about Kane and Moody.
That is a great
Never,
pick.
ever.
I like that.
Kane and Moody's butt as well. He's very, very big supporter of SARugbymag magazine.
Really?
And I remember when Kane first got picked, his butt did an interview and said, him and Kanan always read SARugbymag magazine as youngsters. They were inspired by it. So you keep that brand going, mate.
Incredible, mate.
Hey? You keep that editorial integrity and authority going. Okay.
Can I give you my centres?
You can indeed.
Okay. So I haven't gone with Lukhanyo Am and Ethan Hooker.
Oh, you forgot about him.
I didn't forget about him. I do like that pick, though. It's a really nice centre combo. So the reason I picked Kanan at 11, even though I think he's got a future in the midfield, is because this season has really shown us the number of midfielders coming through. There's a ton of guys, youngsters. I see he's making notes there, mate, readjusting that team. I'm thinking about guys like Henko van Wyk, Lorenzo Julius is a guy you mentioned. quality youngsters. I'm going to keep banging this drum. Stedman Gans is underrated. He's a fantastic player. Even a guy like Eric Cronje, I would consider. He's a fantastic player. So I haven't picked any of those blokes.
You use fantastic quite liberally, but that's fine.
It's a fantastic habit. At 13, I'm going with the experience of the second and last experienced player in this back line. Jesse Creel is going to line up at 13 for me. He's going to control the defense. And between him and Chesson, they're going to lock things down for me. There's quite a lot of versatility with Jesse at 13. And he's going to be outside Ethan Hooker at 12. I think Ethan is going to be the successor to Dukes. And I think Ethan is a guy who's going to thrive at 12. Big body bloke. Always a golden touch. And this is his season to prove that he can cut it at the next level.
You see, for me, Hooker, he's kind of been a standing on the wing because they have so much talent in the midfield. They've had injuries and suspensions on the wing. I see his career, he's always going to be capable of playing on the wing. 13 is where I see him really making his mark. And as he gets older, in about 11 years' time, moving him into 12.
Like you've done with Lecanio.
Because if I think of Jurenzo and I think of Johnny Roach, and I'm a big Johnny Roach fan, I think he will ultimately be the next Damien Dealandi as well. He's got something. He's got mongrel.
He's got a mullet, mate.
And he runs hard, man.
What more do you want?
He runs hard and he's understated. And he's going to, by the way, he's going to be my mix in one of those 3 tests. Johnny Roach and Jurez, the Paul Roos and the Bishop's boys, they are going to be in my mix.
Link up.
And Damien Dealandi, Lukanya Arm and Jesse Creel, if they fit, are going to be in New Zealand. So I'm not discarding them, guys. This is my Bokwatch. How do we integrate the youngsters? How do I integrate the youngsters? Who would I pick to play their first test against Italy?
Yep.
And this is not disrespecting Italy at any measure. This is saying this is a side good enough to play against anyone.
Totally.
And actually be successful and win.
Yep.
So, yeah, I like your pick. I like my picks. I like the fact that you've gone with Jesse for the experience. I've gone with Lukanya for the experience. So
exactly.
And we're giving Dukes a rest
covered.
from Georgia. Dukes is the one we just know, but we just need you to be primed for Auckland.
Yeah, Dukes is playing touch with us in July.
Yeah, he's primed for Auckland. We got to get that guy just firing for that match at 12.
Yeah.
And there's Sonny Ball Williams, one of the best ever at 12 in Union. Great league player. What he said was Damien Dealandi, so much of the box success is down to having that
Big
guy
time.
at 12. A bigger compliment I don't think he could get.
Yep.
Because they say the biggest
bedrock.
compliments come from your peers. Comes from your opponents.
Yep.
So a big shout out there to Damien Dealandi. He's got the endorsement of Sonny Ball Williams. Going into 10, Sasha. It's just, hopefully he's on the field if he's fit. To me, he is the most complete 10. He will be the natural successor to Andre Pollard. Jordan Hendrickson is really playing well. You can play him at fullback. You can play him at fluff. But Sasha, to me, is the closest I've seen to a Dan Carter at that age in terms of just his natural feel in his game. He's just got to stay on the field and keep fit. I'm always going with Sasha at 10.
Yeah, totally. Agree with you 100%. I went with exactly the same
Sasha FM, as you call him.
Sasha FM Radio. He's my guy at 10. And I think aside from the injury question marks, if you took that off the table, this guy's blue chip. And going to be around for a long time. So, like I said, right at the top of this thing, I'd like to see Andre, Sasha, and Gaza race for that 10 jersey and push each other.
I've also got him to score 21 points in that test.
Probably, exactly.
So, my 9, I like this. Okay. Yeah. I love watching him in the URC, so you know he's domestic. He's based in South Africa. Grant Williams. I just dig that oak, the way he plays. There's this wariness that I have that people just basically stereotype him as an impact player. Guy who comes off the bench, creates magic, his pace. You can play him on the wing, either wing. Play him at 9, you probably play him at fullback as well, but he just adds such a dynamic edge when he's playing. Understated, no airs and graces in terms of the way he plays on the field. I don't know him off the field, but I just think a halfback combination of Grant Williams and Sasha. Wow. And that's, again, Bishop's Paul Jim. Sorry, guys, but it all happens in the Western Cape. Looks like everyone that comes through is from one of these schools. Nice to know we've got the odd Southern Suburb school boy that's coming through, but mainly it's out in the Boerland. But, yeah, that would be my halfback combination. So my backline would be Willemse, Colby, Hooker, Kurt Lee, Sasha, and Williams. That's
Grant
not
Williams.
a bad 9 to 15,
That's
eh?
a lovely backline.
Sure.
Mate. That is a lovely, lovely backline. I also went with Villa at 9. I rate him highly. And for very similar reasons. I feel like he needs to be starting test matches now and to be the guy in the 9 jersey for a bit and see how he copes with that. I think he, obviously, electric pace and has experience, has been in the biggest games. And I think he's a nice guy to have. He's got just enough experience there to kind of keep it all together with Radio at 10. So that was my pick as well.
All right, then we get to the pack, the forwards.
The important blokes.
And again, I'm going to keep on saying this ad nauseum. I don't know where you tune into the show, but this is my team, my 23 that I would play against Italy in the first test. Bokwatch. Zels is picking his 23. This is not what we think Rassie will pick. This is not that Rassie's ever mentioned to us he would pick. This is us playing box selective. We want you to play box selective. We want to see all your teams. Only for that first test and your rationale behind it. And we keep on emphasizing some big names missing here. In my mind, at least, they will be going to New Zealand playing against the All Blacks. This is to create that depth that's coming through. And what better chance than to give them the July test matches against the likes of Italy and Georgia and South Africa.
Spot on. Got 876. Got
876. I've got Hanekom at 8 from the Bulls. I've got 7. I've got Visser from the Bulls. And at 6, I got Captain Courageous, simply the best, Sia Khaleesi, because we have to start the season with him running out. Reward for his domestic form. That's my loose trio.
Okay, mine is very similar. One change that I've got is at 7. I've got Ben Jason Dixon. He's a guy that kind of flirted with the box and then had a bit of a drop-off, and I think needs to come back and reassert himself. Seems to be quite a confidence player. The sooner we get him back in the mix and get him flexing again, the better. So let's have him start the season, hit the ground running. And then at 8, I went with Sia Khaleesi. We've seen some good signs that he can play that position. He's got the athleticism for it. Obviously, there's the experience factor. Just having him on the field is worth multiple points. Important to start the season with your skipper there. So good chance for him to kind of make the 8 jersey his own in a test environment. And then at 6, I went Cam Hanekom. So I think he can play to the ball. I think he's got the sort of the nose for it to put his head in dark spaces. I think he's tough enough for it. And then obviously explosive. If you get that guy on the edges against backs, he's going to have a field day. So my 6, 7, 8 was Cam, Ben Jason, and Sia.
I like it. I like Sia at 8 as well. We've seen him play there, and I think you could see him play games or start there or end there with the box. Great versatility, and I'm telling you, that guy's going to make it to the World Cup. Sia Khaleesi, he's got a mission. He wants to represent the box. He wants to create more history. And another guy who's going to go with him, because we're going to get to the locks now, he's going to be Eben Etzebeth. This guy's managing himself to perfection. Okay? He'll be back for the playoffs. He'll play a starring role for the Sharks, create some history for them there, and walk straight into his 133rd test, locking up the second row for South Africa, a giant. And he is just going to be huge for the box this season. I think he'll be over his headache. Maybe the headache is URC. Like, do I have to play in this?
Do I really have to really play this?
But definitely Eben to start at 4, and the Viking.
Okay,
After
nice.
Stammen is my 5. Eh?
Nice.
Got to be rewarded. If you play in the Viking with that backline,
Yeah.
can you imagine the support runners of that guy's offload, of Sasha coming off that offload, that back 3, any one of them, and then Hooker just hitting the right line with power. Oh,
Try time.
no, it's exciting.
It
We
is
see
exciting.
the talent we've got him on our backs. Wow. And different types of backs. So if you're thinking of a Dukes at 12, and you're thinking of a Pollard at 10, you're thinking of an Pimpy on the wing, or if you want to go a Billy LaRue at fullback, a Fassi. I mean, we have so much.
Spot on.
It's who do you leave out? Who do you pick? And with us playing so many test matches, I'd say you pick them all.
Pick them all, mate. Give them all a turn.
Give them all a run.
Yeah.
So when the World Cup final comes in 2027, it doesn't matter who goes down. The next cab off the rank has played there before, and you consider them good enough to play.
Yeah,
Start from
interesting.
any minute from 1 to 83.
Okay, I've also got the Viking in my second row. I haven't got him at 5. I've got him at 4. So he's playing a bit of a tighter role, doing more of the donkey work, but still in the mix to be able to do special offloads. Maybe sort of task him with playing a little bit more of a maturer game in this particular one and fronting up to the Italy tight 5. And I've paired him with Ronald Keo, also got a shot last season. Obviously, injuries waylaid his season this year. He's scribbling his name down.
Pain and remove.
I wasn't a cheerleader for Ronald Keo, and I'm still not sure he's high up in the pecking order, but he has earned this shot. When he was given an opportunity, he took it with both hands, and I think we need to see a little bit more of him to make some final decisions on that. Italy's a great opportunity to do it, and hopefully he comes back from injury soon to make himself available.
Look, I can tell you that Ronald Keo, when he came on the scene, Jake's been a big fan of his, obviously, for many years. he really made a kind of Franco Moster type impact at test level. I also initially thought, couldn't this guy take the level up? He just looked like he belonged in Test rugby from day one. So, yeah, great choice there, but not as good as the Viking. Okay? We want to know who you'd pick. First test. This is the first test against Italy. Your match 23. You put down in the comments section, and we'll kind of discuss that next week as well. We're going to be doing Bokwatch once a week up until the end of June when the Sharks and the Bulls play in the URC final in Durban. after the Stormers beat them this weekend and knock the Bulls back into fourth place kind of thing. Okay, looking at our front rowers, mate, we are playing Italy, and the one thing they got is a pack. So Wilco Lowe goes, number 3. He's my destroyer. He's going to anchor that scrum, and he's going to be a monster. Malcolm Marx, the experience, coming back from Japan, give him a run. And obviously the other monster on the left, Oxen Chair. Not a bad front row.
That's not a bad front row, mate. I'd say it's pretty close to our best, to be honest. I went with less experience. It's more of a mission to try and develop some guys and get some answers around guys. So I do have Wilco anchoring the scrum. There's no Frans Balhaber in my match day squad. I've got Wilco anchoring the scrum to continue demolishing tight fives like he has been at scrum time. I've stuck with Grobbies at 2. Given him an opportunity. Johan Grobelaar against Italy. Let's have a look at how the line-out goes. You'll see my pack is actually quite Bulls-centric, so the combination of him and Ruan Nokia, I think, could potentially work quite nicely in that lineup. And then at loose head, I went with Gerard Steenekamp. I've actually rested Oxenchair and Frans Balhaber from this match.
So Auckland.
So Gerard Steenekamp starts at loose head, and I'm not sure whether you want to talk about this later or now, mate, but we do need to have a special mention of Big Red, who announced his retirement this week, mate. And it actually hit me a little bit because I didn't realize, the fatties, they don't get a lot of credit. We don't talk about them often. And he's a guy who, I was on the Stormers beat before he even came out of school. Matty Proudfoot was on the phone with me about this kid coming out, how he had to get permission from his parents to let him play. And you kind of just assume the guy's going to be there forever. And then one day he's just not there anymore. And it's quite a big blow. You realize, geez, this guy's been internal and part of the fabric for, more than a decade. So absolutely fabulous player, fabulous bloke. Will be sorely missed. Sorry to see him go. But yeah, just what an absolute servant of the game.
Yeah, Stephen Kitshoff, Polaris boy. Played for the Stormers at 19. Always remember, he says the hardest tackle he ever got was from Ma'a Nonu. He's playing for the Hurricanes. On the day that Stephen Kitshoff at 33 announced his retirement, Ma'a Nonu announces he's signing for Geelong at 42. It's just incredible, eh? The virtues of playing centre and playing loose head prop, okay? One goes at 33, one still playing at 42. But the Spicy Plum, as we said, SAB, fantastic fan through Retroviral and Mike Sharman and his team. Fantastic tribute, eh? Just this one for Kitsy, yeah. Beautiful tributes written. Lots are done on SA Rugby. I did a little piece on Keo, just thanking him. I think the headline was the guy who wore one who became number one. That was always his thing, the SA Rugby magazine cover, wonderful cover many years back when he said, I want to be the best in the world. And he was. 2 World Cups. Someone said, but he 83 tests, 138 games for the Stormers, but he only started in 20-something plus. And it's like, mate, minutes. Because at test level, invariably, it's not always one that starts, it's the one who finishes. And if he wasn't starting, he was finishing the last 50 minutes or the last 40 minutes. So in the modern day prop, it's not about starting wearing 1 or 17 or 18. It's really how many minutes do you contribute. Stephen Kitshoff, 2 World Cups, URC title, history, first ever Stormers captain to win international tournament, Lions Series win, Rugby Championship win in 2019. In a game,
Junior World Championship.
He came off the bench there as well. 46-13, we beat Argentina in Argentina to win it. That was the shortened World Cup. And it even slipped my mind that Andre Pollard got 31 points that day, and he missed 2 conversions. It's weird. I always think of Morné Steyn as the guy with 31. We think of Monty with some big 30 numbers. But Andre Pollard, 31 in 2019. It was a taste of what was to come in the 2019 World Cup and the 2023 World Cup. So yes, to Stephen Kitshoff, wow, thank you, and just wonderfully loved by the fans, by his colleagues, by his teammates.
Yeah.
And I always maintained his humility. And don't ever call him a fatty. That guy was power. He was power geweest.
More power than Scotty needs. You mentioned Nonu. I'm probably going to butcher the facts on this, but Jamie Wall put up a cool tweet. I don't know if you saw it. He said Nonu played against Kieran Bracken in the early 2000s, and now he's come out of retirement, and in the top 14, he's going to be playing Kieran's sons, who weren't even born when they played each other.
But he actually hasn't come out of retirement because he's playing in America.
MLR.
Well, you can call that retirement, but
it is, mate.
yeah, that's interesting, eh?
Hey?
Yeah,
That is wild.
that is crazy, eh? Nonu, like, what a servant to the game, eh? Just fantastic. I mean, look here. With the problems that the All Blacks have had in the midfield, I would have picked him for the last 5 years.
Mate,
He wouldn't have been out of place, eh, Nonu?
Fear factor.
But yeah, and Matt Pierce actually put this thing out on X, Matty Pierce.
Yeah.
A very interesting stat about the Spicy Plum.
Kitsy, yeah.
Yeah, there's only been 4 players who have ever played all 7 matches in back-to-back winning World Cups. 2011, 2015, it was 3 All Blacks, Sonny Ball, Jerome Kano, and Kieran Reid. And 2019 and 23, it was Stephen Kitshoff.
Wow.
Now that's an elite quartet.
Big time, mate.
All right,
Those
so
blokes
Stephen
can play.
Kitshoff, we'll see you in the coaching box sooner rather than later. I'm sure we're going to see him next to Dobbo, rather next to Dobbo than up north somewhere.
Oh, exactly.
I don't want to see him do an Andres Becker
Yes, mate.
and go north.
Oh,
So, but yeah, massive celebration. The love that they were shown for him on social media, also huge and rightfully so.
a founding member of the bomb squad, which brings us a nice little segue to our benches.
All right. I like the way you think, eh?
Go to number 16, mate. Who've you got?
Okay, 16, I've got Jan-Hendrik Wessels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think he is the one to answer for the future. I think he's a great
So
talent.
you see him as a hooker for the box?
I see him as someone who's in the big games is always going to be on the bench, who can give them the option of having a guy who could play hooker or loose head.
Right.
I think he can be as good in both, and he can be one of those first real versatile hooker to front row players that is equally comfortable, and he's just such an athlete. And I mean, that neck of his is impressive.
It's too much.
I mean, he makes the pont look like a dashwood. Okay.
Back to the dogs, mate.
I mean, that's a stappy of note, and he can play.
They have to sew that jersey on him. There's no ways that neckline is getting on
No,
that
can
head,
play.
mate.
No, I think we talk about these incredible youngsters we got in the backs.
Yeah.
21, 22, 23. Look ahead to the next 2 World Cups and forget what's basically in grade 10 at school at the moment.
Yeah.
But Jan-Hendrik Wessels, he's at 16.
Power.
He gives me the option of you basically go and you've got 3 front rowers when he's in that scrum. Poor, mate, poor. I need more poor, Scotty.
Who are the other 2 front rows on your bench?
My other 2 front rows, your mate, Asanati.
Asanati and Tlabakanye?
Spell it.
NTLABA.
No, look, he's been outstanding since last year, since he decapitated the guy from Connacht. Anyway, how that guy got up as well. It's still amazing.
When he advanced too quickly on the 5-yard tap.
Oh, jeez,
mate.
That was the hit of
gold.
the season.
That was gold.
I mean, he got a red card, but
It was worth
every
inch of that card.
They didn't send that guy for concussion test, and he took a tap after that as well. But I saw Sasha did an interview.
Wrecked that oak.
And he said after watching the Lions
Yes.
against the Stormers last 2 weekends ago,
Yeah.
You can see why that guy does damage, or you can see why he felt as sore as he did when he got tackled by him.
Yeah.
He does damage. His work rate is outstanding, and obviously his conditioning in terms of his size is always going to be an issue. He's just got to basically lose a few kilograms. I think if he gets into the box setup, he will. Working with Don Heeman, I think he's going to play a big part in the next 2 or 3 seasons in the build-up to the World Cup. So I've got him as my one prop replacement, and I've got Steenekamp. He's always going to be in the mix. So my tight and my loose head covered there, and Wessels covers my hooker and loose head.
Okay, I went, my backup hooker is Malcolm Marks, arguably our best hooker, and obviously it offers the box some experience off the bench, along with another guy who's based overseas, Thomas Dutoy. He comes on to cover loose head prop. So,
Jeez, I forgot about a lot of these oaks. Fail to prepare and prepare to fail.
Thomas the Tank and Malcolm come off the bench with feast mode himself. Asanati and Tlabakanye is on my bench to cover tight head props. So he's got 2 experienced guys on his left, and he will anchor the scrum in the second half.
Well, that's not bad. It reminds me, you and I remind me of the old Springbok selection stories I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's my team. What about Carl FC? Oh, forgot about him. Okay, your guy's out, he's in, but I need a lock. Okay, you can have my lock. I don't think players know how many players were so close to being Springbok selections in the 80s and 90s that were in the team until someone reminded them they'd forgotten a banker, and then they were out again. Just cross through that.
Yeah.
I do remember the wonderful story, and I was a part of it, was the Neil de Kock, Dion de Kock story.
Yes.
And it was like, it got down to a selection debate. And Vernon Klaassen had come in and he'd seen Dion de Kock play. And Neil de Kock had been on the bench, played 10
What
test
a
matches.
player.
Joost was the one in charge. And Harry Vernoen was the head coach. And Vernon Klaassen made this big play for Dion de Kock. And I was like, Harry doesn't make the bullside. Heineke won't pick him. Yeah, maybe it's a regional, provincial thing. Phone Heineke. So I phone Heineke. Heineke's a great player if he's playing Currie Cup. Can't pass to the one side. Very limited as a 9.
You scrum off.
Yeah, very limited as a 9 in traditional sense, but just fiery. You'll like score 2-3 great tries against Boland in a tough Friday night
Because
game.
he can't pass.
Yeah, you'll take on the forwards, but you don't want to play him at test level or at regional level. So I told gave back the feedback. They said, no, it must be a personal issue that they have. So they pick him. So I said, listen here, guys, we've got to announce this team on SuperSport.
Yeah.
They need the team now for their graphics. They told me, just put the name de Kock. There'll be one of the two. And I didn't know who they're going to pick. And as they read it out, they said, and Dion de Kock. That's how Neil de Kock lost his mock place. Okay, serious? Can you believe that? Okay, but we go and we play against France. Somehow we lose the game. We were 1-1 in South Africa. We lose there in Paris. It's all doom and gloom. We go to Italy. Those were the days where you win 56-26 and people think you were terrible. 54-26. But Dion de Kock gets picked to start. And Harry, who was a scrum off of notes in his day for Transvaal, looking at me and he says, that guy can't pass both sides. I know! Pass better than him. That's what Heineke said. So that's how he got in. Okay? As a box. But a great guy and all that. Very good provincial player. But
I remember that too. I remember him against USA and all that.
Let me just, who else have I forgotten? Kane and Mooney and who else? All right, so those are props. And then we go to
19 and 20. Because I've gone 5-3 split. You went 6-2.
I went 6-2. So let me get my locks out the way.
Go.
I've got Salman Murat.
Ooh. Interesting.
I rate him.
Okay.
I rate him. I also know he's rated in the national setup. He gets a lot of abuse on social media. Yeah. People, what's he in there for? He's in there because he's a bloody good leader. He really puts in the yards. I rate him as a player and as a leader, and he's well respected by the players. So Salman Murat goes in as the one, and obviously the machine, the Tesla of world rugby. Hey, Franco Mostert.
Really?
He's on my bench. He can play in the second row. He can play as a 7. He brings that hardened experience as well. He's come out of a season where he's been used to tackling because he doesn't play for a great team in Japan. And he just needs that nice little bit of physicality against a physical Italian side, and he'll be good to go when it comes to bigger tests in rugby championships. So those are that's my 18 and my 19. I'm just going to finish my pack, and then you can do your rest. At 20, I've got Ruan Venter from the Lions.
Nice.
I picked 2 Lions. Unbelievable. I rate that kid as one. Another Paul Boys High Oak from the Western Cape.
Yeah.
A giant. I mean, just hard man. I think it's got capacity to cover second row as well. Just big boy, young, promising. And then I've got Evan Roos. I'm not going to discard Evan Roos at the moment. I think Evan Roos is he'll come on. He can play 6, 7 or 8. I'd love to see him and Cameron Hanekom in tandem as well at some stage against the Italians. So that would be my forward replacements. Not a bad 6.
Those are fantastic options there, mate. And I think definitely a lot of power and guys that would be hungry to perform. So some interesting picks. I went with, so obviously Asanati was 18. I went with Vincent Chituka on my bench at 20. I think he's a guy that him and his brother have qualified to play for South Africa. Massive unit, massively athletic, great ball carrier, has even done some moonlighting at lock before. And I think he's a guy we need to start seeing at that next level to get answers about what the future holds for him. And then at 19, I went with the youngster, J.F. van Heerden from the Bulls.
You don't need to say he's a youngster, SA under-20 star. Made some big hits. He's going to come.
Yeah.
And we better pick him for the box sooner rather than later because he'll be playing for France.
Correct. Exactly.
He reminds me of Paul Willemse.
Yeah.
Same kind of player, similar kind of impact at an under-20 level, and then went to France. Obviously, the rest is history. He's played how many tests for them? Yeah. Just struggling with concussion at the moment. Okay, so your 5 split is?
That's so my 5 split is Malcolm Marx, Thomas du Toit, Asanati and Tlabakanye, Vincent Chituka at 20 and 19 was J.F. van Heerden.
What I'm loving about these two teams, there's quite a bit of difference, yet they both you could see both going out, and we haven't even looked at 10 or 12 of the World Cup winner, certain starters last season who you pick in the big games, who are still playing and still number one in the pecking order. that talent in South African rugby at the moment.
Massive.
That's why we got 11 out of 13. It should have been 13 out of 13. We lost 2 1-pointers last season. I think arguably the best ever season we've had outside of a World Cup victory in the outside of that 98 season with Mallet.
Yeah.
And 97, 98. Started with Coral and then into that 98 season with Mallet. But wow. Incredible talent, boys. Incredible talent. And what wraps it up for me in the backs, I'm going with a 6-2 split. So I've covered my goal kicking through Cheslin, who can kick, Damien, who can kick, if Sasha has to go off. And it really doesn't matter who can kick either. I'm sure some of the fours. I think Jan Hendrik can kick as well. He can do anything, okay? He's the frick de prayer.
Yeah.
So I'm going with a 9 who can kick but doesn't have to kick. Morne van der Berg. Another Lion. I like that kid.
Krappie, you've got him.
And to complete my 23, Fassi. The interchangeable one with Damien as well.
Lovely.
So
I like
that's
that.
my 23. It's a power of 23. Italy, rugby folk are going to hear my 23, hear your 23 and think, why are we getting on the plane?
Correct, mate. I went with Krappie as well at 21. I've got 3 backs, obviously. 22, Gaza, covering multiple positions. And then my 23 is a guy, I've always rated him. I think he's a phenomenal player. He arrived on the scene and shot the lights out immediately and then struggled with injury. And I think he can still add value to the box. And having this guy perform well will free up some players, maybe a Kane and Moody, to make that shift to the midfield. So Edwil van der Merwe is my number 23.
You do like him, Edwil van der Merwe.
I do like
Started
him,
in
mate.
Province,
He's
went
a
to the Lions.
quality player.
Only test match he's played was against Wales at Twickenham, player of the match. Maybe we can say it again, man of the match.
Man of the match.
Yeah, you don't have to say player of the match now. Man of the match. He was there and a good form again in the URC. Lethal against his old teammates at the Stormers. He really does get up for those games.
Yes, he does, man.
Those win contests are something to behold,
Exactly.
When those Cape boys come up against each other.
Yeah.
Messi.
Yeah.
Messi. 2 great 23, Zels. Thanks. Thanks to me. Thanks to Zels. We played selector. Kane and Moody, always going to be in the mix, by the way. Great
Look on
player.
your face, mate. Priceless.
Kane and Moody. Is that IE or EY?
Classic.
Who can forget that try against Australia? Sydney, 24-8. The up and
yeah.
under,
Yeah.
yes. Wonderful try against the Lions as well. Which brings us to this weekend's URC. Not much to talk about in the URC other than the South African teams.
Correct. What's new?
What's new, man? It's all about us. Record attendance, 160,000 last round. All of it in Cape Town.
There you go.
All of it in Cape Town, thanks to the Bulls and the Stormers.
Yeah.
With like 50,000, 160,000 came from that. And a good turnout as well elsewhere in the country. So it's the Bulls hosting against the Stormers. I've got the Stormers to win that one by 5.
We go straight into the picks, are we?
You name it,
5
mate.
points for the Stormers, you
And
say?
you can win 4 tickets. Only one winner. You just have to post a comment on the site to tell us anything. And we're going to pick it. Preferably if you say the Stormers will win. Anyone who says the Stormers will win goes into the draw. You can get 4 tickets, because imagine just being that Stormers supporter at Loftus on Saturday evening, and then you can say to Jake, it's a good thing they didn't list Carl and Gert Small in the mix.
Yeah, I think maybe have the word. We need to have some sort of a thing in there where we know that this guy is trying to enter this comp. Otherwise, we're going to give tickets to people who can't get there.
And no, you've looking the guy. It's like we don't do the installation, okay, of the big 42,900 Rand inverter. We don't fly you there. We don't drive you there. We don't give you a kilo, and we don't give you some snacks. What we give you is 4 tickets courtesy of the Bulls and Vodacom.
Anybody who makes a prediction on this game will be in the draw for these 4 tickets.
Yeah. Okay, you got the Bulls guys in there as well.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? We're going to do the pen test. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There you go. Zels, you've won it again. With your inverter.
So you've got the Stormers to win by 5.
I've got the Stormers to win.
I've got the Bulls to win by 3. 27-24.
Oh, you say it's going to be tight for Jake and the boys.
It is going to be tight.
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. Now, I've got the Stormers to win. I think they may have a few yellow cards against the Bulls. I've spoken to the match officials. They said they'll be
have
kind.
you seen the match officials,
Yeah, they'll be
mate?
kind. They'll be kind. Stormers to go. And, again, not a train smash for the Bulls. If they lose it, they're still in that top 4. Stormers lose this one. It's going to be a tight squeeze to get into the last 8. Interesting enough, after 11 rounds, last season the Stormers were 9th. Now they're 11th. Pretty much similar on points. They'll still get to the top 8. The key is for the Bulls and the Sharks to finish in the top 4 and to host a home quarterfinal.
Yeah.
We've got to host, and that's why I'm saying the Sharks have to win
Totally.
at Johannesburg, and I think they will win, and I think they'll win comfortably. They'll win by 15 points.
Ooh, Ooh, that's a great pick.
35-20 is my score.
Mate, we're so close on this. So I've got the Sharks to win by 9. I've said they're going to win it 30-21.
And I didn't give my score prediction for the Stormers.
No, you didn't, mate.
The Stormers will be winning by 28-23 against the Bulls.
Okay.
Against the 12-man Bulls. Elsewhere, we know Leinster will win. And
for the Stormers to win, mate, they've got to have 3 guys sent off. That's what happens, right? Last time out.
That's right, that's right.
I kind of have a situation where 12 guys beat the Bulls.
The Stormers have got to be down to 12, not the Bulls.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jake gets there and he sees Coral and Gert just walking on the field with Dobbo. I thought they were on the injury list.
I think Gert could probably still pack a punch.
Well, I hope that Jake and Dobbo have a little beer afterwards.
That'd be nice.
Dobbo's 7 on the trot. Jake's 2 on the trot. This is number 10.
Yes.
Hey? If you win 3 in a row, is that a streak?
It is a streak, mate. It is a streak.
And if Dobbo takes win, it's 8 from 10. Does that put Jake behind the black ball?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
All right.
I'd love to. That'd be a huge result with this team.
All right. Last thing before we check out, go to SA Rugby magazine during the game on their site. You'll see all the live scores as the South African guys do their derby thing, their match reports. We'll be back on Tuesday because I'm not here on Monday. I've got other business. We're back on Tuesday. Talk Bokwatch, obviously, then to talk about what happened at the weekend. But we ran an interesting poll. The Bolton keyring. And I said I would never buy that thing. Who would buy a piece of rubber that looks like Bolton, doesn't smell like Bolton, doesn't taste like it? Zels said he'd love it. People are stopping him in the streets, in the malls, hooting at him, saying, "Where did you get that keyring, man?" And from somewhere in New York, a mate of his. And so we put it on the poll on the Keo and Zels WhatsApp channel. And my goodness, Zels hasn't slept for 3 days.
Just been clicking away.
Aister tells me that Jean-Andre Joubert, who works the back end, the behind the scenes, there's just from Bloberg, there's just one oak who's just pounding that thing.
No, man, it's not Bloberg, it's India. I've paid for a couple of blokes over here to do
in
the
any
clicking.
case, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. 66%
Yes.
of those who voted said they would definitely invest. And now I'm going to say, prove it and show us the receipts. Show us the receipts, mate. So, well, it looks like I'm in the minority of those who wouldn't buy it. What I would buy is an inverter, 42,009 Rand. If I had the cash, I don't. I won't be winning it. It's against the terms and conditions. Neither will you, Zels. Imad and Aister are out as well. One of you on next Tuesday will be announced the winner of the inverter. And if you live anywhere outside of South Africa, you have to pay for the customs yourself. Oh, you won't, so we'll just keep it here ourselves. Thanks, Deco. Enjoy. Go and get the 4 tickets to Dobbo and Jay. Good luck. To the boys, Plumbing his boys, to Cash. Good luck. Let's have some great rugby this weekend. And remember, guys, to smile, to be safe, and to know we have so much talent. And if you just got the tail end, these match 23s for the first test against Italy is what Zels would pick and what I would pick. It's not the definitive 23, and it's not who we think Rassie would pick. But we're going to check out your comments on the YouTube channel and tell us who you would pick.